Hello, Blitz fans of all ages, it's me, PlumCastle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Season 2, Constellation. Now, what is that? Well, basically, the Retrotopia quest that we got the last 3 months. This is going to be a continuation of that, as it is Season 2, the previous one is Season 1. But if you haven't seen that previous one, or you weren't aware of it, this will kind of be another refresher for how this all works. So basically, what Season 2 Constellation is going to be is it's going to be a really, really long event that should last, as we can see here by the 87. It's going to be 3 months long, which is a fairly long time. And you're going to potentially be able to get 3 tanks out of it, ranging from Tier 7, which is the Basilisk. Okay, that is a word that I have not seen in a while, because the last time I saw that was when I was looking up a mouse. Anyway, next after that, we've got Nebulon, or Nebulin. I'm sure pronunciations are kind of a little bit varied depending on who you ask. Glacier, that one's pretty easy. And yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at these. And maybe taking a look at a few of the stats, and we're going to see exactly what's involved in getting through this. First of all, let's take a look at what's here to begin with. Starting with the Basilisk. It's a Tier 7. We can see that it can upgrade all the way up to the end, and hopefully this gives us all of the stats. Let's get this in a nice list form. So, what do we have here? When you get the tank maxed out, we've got weight. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Aiming time, 4 seconds. That's generally kind of somewhere in the middle. It's not like super long, but it's, I would generally speaking like a tank that has less. Dispersion, 0.34. Okay, nice, whatever. Damage per minute sitting at 2,000 for Tier 7. That's okay, I guess. Average penetration is going to be actually not all that fantastic. 154, 218, and 45. Overall, this tank, at least to me and on paper, it doesn't seem like it'd be all that crazy so far. 9 degrees of gun depression, however, is pretty cool. And while gun elevation isn't always like the biggest factor in things, 25 degrees is actually pretty decent in my opinion. And let's see, does it give us anything more than that? Not really, so it's a little bit hard to gauge whether this tank is going to be super great or not. Looking at it, however, I do believe that this is essentially a reskin of an American light tank in Tier 7 that we have already. The T-20, which, to my knowledge, is not a super fantastic tank. Yeah, that just doesn't strike me as being super good. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the tank, so I can't really speak too much on that. After that, though, is the Nebulin, or Nebulon. I am not sure how I'm even going to be pronouncing that over the course of this event. And that, I believe, is a Japanese tank, if I'm not mistaken. Essentially, it's a Tier 8. It's not those. Maybe it was a Chinese one. I take that completely back. It's one of these. Let's see. It's a Tier 8, and it is, I believe, this one, the TVP VTU. That's what it looks like to me. So, the TVP, I mean, I guess it's a fine tank. Definitely one of the better ones. It doesn't really matter what it's a reskin of, but in terms of the stats, at least when the thing is maxed out, we are looking at a, let's see, weight. Again, doesn't really matter all that much. Aiming time, this is definitely lower, sitting at 3.5 seconds. Dispersion, 3.4. Again, kind of similar to what we saw before. Damage per minute is 2,000, which is actually, again, for the tier, I mean, it's okay. It's not like super or anything, but for a heavy tank, that's a respectable amount of damage per minute, I would argue. Average damage 280, which is just shy of 300, of course, which is honestly fine. Where do we see the reload time anywhere? Reload time is 8.25 seconds. Okay, so there's a little bit of a wait, but it's not like a super long reload. In terms of damage, 240 for the premium rounds and 350 for HE. Honestly, I would kind of like to see a little bit more HE damage, considering that's only 70 higher. I mean, I guess that's normal, but honestly, I think I could see a little bit more in that. Overall, I would say these two tanks don't seem like they're really standing out. I would say probably compared to the previous season, they're probably not as good. You'll notice as we go here, though, this first one's kind of like Halloween themed slightly, just a little bit. This next one is Okay, that looks beach themed for whatever reason. And then that brings us to this tank, which is really interesting because I totally forgot how close Christmas was coming. And this is very Christmas themed. Now this is the Glacier. It is a tier 9, and we're going to look at the stats of the maxed out gun because that just kind of makes sense. So what we have here in terms of the statistics are aiming time 3.3 seconds. This is actually an improvement over the previous one, which is good. 3.3 seconds, I would say, it's decent. Dispersion 3.45, kind of the same story as the previous tank. Damage per minute, though, is 2,318. Now, honestly, I would say that that's pretty decent. This is a medium tank, so that's probably where the damage per minute is being better. But I do like 2,500. It's getting, not, of course, quite close to 3,000. Still falls about 500 short. But still, a decent amount of damage per minute nonetheless. 8.34 seconds, so yeah, you're going to have a little bit of a wait. Average penetration, 235, 280, and 52. These are some better values. That's very nice. Average damage is 350, 300, and 440 for the for the standard, premium, and HE shells, respectively. So yeah, I mean, interesting amounts of damage. Definitely has some kind of like medium characteristics going for it. Gun turn limit, 10 degrees, super fantastic. I really do like 10 degrees. 9 was pretty good with the other tank, the Basilisk, that being. Nebulin had a, what was its gun depression? It was a gun depression of 9. So this is definitely the best in terms of gun depression. Pretty cool. Overall, statistics-wise, the Glacier, of course, stands out the most. But now that I've kind of gone over what's in here, let's take a look at how we get through it. This because it's kind of helpful to know, probably. So wargaming actually makes it pretty easy, thankfully. So if you come out to the garage like this, and then you go to the Constellation event that's like right under your name, it's like the biggest icon in your garage, or at least it is at the moment. And how to get. So there are actually a large amount of ways to do this. There's the operation pass, so the battle pass, and we'll take a look at this in a second. Events and quests, bonus for store purchases. Again, we'll all go over this in just a second. You can see here as we go, this one has a limit of just shy of 4,000 for the battle pass, unlimited in quests, and, well, technically there's only so many quests you can complete between now and when the event ends, but that number's probably pretty high. Bonus for store purchases is, of course, unlimited, because why would they limit the amount that you want to spend on this event? And then we have weekly clan missions. So the maximum per week is 320, which if we take the fact that, and I'm just going to pull my calculator up real quick here, if we take into account the fact that there's 320 per week, that there's roughly 4 weeks per month, and that there's 3 months in here, we're looking at about 3,840. Yeah, that'll definitely help you get through the event somewhat, but it's probably not going to make the biggest dent, as we'll see in a second. Rating battles in Silver League or higher, and I really like this. Of course, you're not going to get anything if you're in Bronze League, but I would argue that about the large majority of players are silver and up, which is really nice because it means that you don't need to have a super great rating to be able to get off of this. Now, you do have a limit of 500, kind of makes sense given how wide the range is. And tournaments, you also have a limit of 500, so that's how you get them. And now I'm going to go into each of these just a little bit more in depth. Not a whole lot with, let's say, like the Battle Pass, but of course, we can take a look at these. There's the Fortium Shards. That's the thing that's the currency for this event. And I've not really paid much attention to the Battle Passes lately. I just haven't bought them just because I never really thought I needed to. But yeah, you can see if we like take a look through here, there's several spots where there's like quite a few of these Fortium Shards. And out of curiosity, I'm not even seeing the tank that's normally on level 30, so that is actually kind of unique. Anyway, there's stuff to be got in the Battle Pass, which is super cool. As well, the weekly missions, which we saw over here. If we take a look and click on one of these icons, you can see that, indeed, if you have an active clan and you're doing all this fun stuff, you will actually be able to get more items here. So all the way to the end, you're going to be getting 32, so that gives you the 320 per week. And then the other thing is special like bonus and missions, events and quests. So Wargaming will have various events that will have some of this currency in them. Not all of them do, but usually a fair amount do. On top of that are quests. So right now, you can see that I'm grinding away for the avatar, but if we click the little next button, we can actually see that currently, at the time of recording this, like pretty much right after the event came out, for the next 4 days, you can get just play 15 battles and you'll get Fortium Shards. And you can see you get 260, which is a nice amount to get for free and without too much effort, to be completely honest. So you can actually get quite a bit, which is really nice. So that's what they mean by that. Things in the store, of course, there's going to be stuff like that. For example, who wouldn't love to spend $30 to get 4,000 of these, nearly 5,000 actually of these things? I probably would not do that, nor would I necessarily recommend it, but it's there. And then, of course, playing raiding battles, you kind of just get them in battles, and then tournament battles would be kind of the same. And so, in summary, to kind of close this all out and give a conclusion, overall, I have to be honest, I'm not super impressed with this season, particularly not in this Tier 7. Again, maybe it's okay, but I just don't really see it being all that, like, terribly fantastic, to be completely honest. And then, I don't even know if these are all the upgraded stats, but yeah, it looks interesting. I just don't think it's going to play all that well. Looking at the Nebulin, okay, it's got a really weird animation on the front, but is the animation really worth it? I don't know, the stat-wise. Really, the only one that I find potentially interesting is this Glacier one. And, what do you know? It has tracer shells, which, just a little recap, what tracer shells do is when hitting the WZ-132A or WZ-132-1, makes them visible for 17 seconds. So, okay, I don't know why it gave these two tanks, but yeah, makes an enemy tank visible to all allies for 20 seconds. Basically, what it does is when you shoot someone, they're going to be visible for 20 seconds instead of 10. It's an interesting mechanic and definitely has its strengths. Overall, I would say this one probably looks the best. Of course, this is the one that you're pretty much going to have to pay for, and I should say this. First one, you could probably grind to the end completely for free. I did that with the previous one, and I wasn't even all that active in the game, to be honest. You could probably get a little bit further into maybe some of this area in the Tier 8 for free. It's when you really get to like the Tier 9 that it really kind of pushes it out of the free zone, and you're going to end up needing to spend for it, which is probably why the stats are better, and of course the tank looks better too. But overall, that's kind of my honest opinion of this event. Hopefully that all makes sense, how it all works together. Basically, just do a bunch of events, do your clan missions, and you're going to be progressing through this as the months go on. But yeah, interesting, but probably not as good as the first one. But that does conclude the video, and so with that, hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.